Good evening and welcome, friends, to this Friday edition of Burning Question. In a major reprieve to the Congress party, Supreme Court earlier in the day stayed the conviction of Rahul Gandhi and asked both the parties to go back to the Sessions Court in Surat and work it out as to whether Rahul Gandhi's conviction stands, and if yes, whether the punishment meted out to him, which was maximum at 2 years, is justified. The court made some observations on both the sides. On the side of Rahul Gandhi, it said that the comments made were not in good taste, but at the same time, it sort of gave a stick to the trial court verdict, suggesting that there was an element of non-application of mind when it came to the quantum of punishment. Whether this reprieve is going to be temporary, giving the Congress party a fillip, which is already gung-ho about Rahul Gandhi's possible reinstatement as member of the Lok Sabha from Wayanad, possibly as soon as Monday. We're going to discuss what impact this is going to have on politics of the country going forward. Let's begin with the headlines first. Supreme Court stays Rahul Gandhi's conviction in defamation case. Sessions Court will hear case now. Sources say Lok Sabha Secretariat will soon revoke Rao's disqualification. He can also contest the 2024 general elections. No stopping Gyan-Vapi truth. Now, the Supreme Court refuses to stay the ASI survey. District Court seeks Gyan-Vapi survey report from ASI in the next 4 weeks. Rioters face bulldozer action. Illegal houses of new riots accused raised by the administration. From fight between Congress and DMK to AAP versus Congress, complete chaos in the I.N.D.I.A alliance. All right, the Supreme Court today stayed the conviction of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, the 2019 criminal defamation case against him over his Modi's surname remarks. While pronouncing the verdict, Justice B.R. Gavai said the ramifications of Rahul Gandhi's conviction are wide, since it will also affect the right of the electorate who elected him. However, the SC also observed that while Gandhi's utterances may not have been in good taste, as a person in public life, he was expected to have exercised more caution while making those speeches. The Congress has been claiming victory. The big question is how long the Lok Sabha Secretariat takes to restore his membership and whether he will be able to participate in the debate on the no confidence motion against the government, which is slated for 8th and 9th of this month, which is, of course, next week. Here's a report, and then I come back to debate.
V for victory! 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 Rahul ji ki victory! 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 Rahul ji ki victory!
Nearly 4 months after being removed as an MP, the Supreme Court's big relief to Rahul Gandhi has paved the way for his re-entry in Parliament.
Pronouncing the verdict, Justice B.R. Gavai observed that utterances of Rahul Gandhi were not in good taste and said that a person in public life ought to have been more careful while making public speeches. However, the bench added that no reason have been given by the trial judge for imposing maximum sentence in this case.
Soon, Congress party workers gathered outside the AICC headquarters with party flags and poster of Rahul Gandhi in mode of celebration. The Congress is claiming victory.
आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों सच्चाई की जीत होती है। मगर जो भी हो, मेरा रास्ता तो क्लियर है। मुझे क्या करना है, मेरा क्या काम है, उसके बारे में मेरे दिमाग में बिल्कुल क्लैरिटी है। जिन लोगों ने हमारी मदद की और जनता ने जो प्यार और सपोर्ट दिया, उसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ।
आज
बड़ा खुशी का दिन हमको लगा कि डेमोक्रेसी की जीत हो गई, संविधान की जीत हो गई, सत्यमेव जयते जो हमारा नेशनल सिंबल के नीचे लिखा हुआ रहता है वो उसका जीत आज हुआ है, इसलिए हम सारे लोग खुश हैं।
However, the fact is the Sessions Court is yet to decide on conviction.
Rahul Gandhi is a convict. All right, he has been convicted for the offence of defamation, and now the Supreme Court stayed his conviction so that his disqualification will cease, right, until the appellate court, which is the Sessions Court in Gujarat, right, or Surat. Sessions Court in Surat upholds the conviction and upholds the sentence of 2 years.
Sources indicate that the Congress has approached Lok Sabha Secretariat to reinstate Rahul back as an MP. The big questions now are how long the Lok Sabha Secretariat takes to restore his membership, and whether he will be able to participate in the debate on the no confidence motion against the government, which is scheduled to begin next week. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, welcome back. The Congress, of course, is excited. But then, does it make things easy for them or actually complicates politics going ahead in the opposition space? Because remember, a gung-ho Congress would see Rahul Gandhi as the face of the opposition alliance. The question is, would the opposition, rest of the opposition, be willing to accept him? And that's going to be the interesting conversation I'm going to have. Joining us, friends, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. She's joining us live from Delhi. Also, Sujata Pandey, political analyst, leans towards the right and the BJP. Joining us to give us the Congress view, Nikhil Jain, advocate, live from Delhi, leans towards the Congress party. But I want to begin with you, Lokesh Jindal, because you come from the Congress party. You're also joining us live from Delhi. Lokesh, what's this victory about? I think the Supreme Court very clearly said that they are giving an interim relief. It's a stay. The conviction is not quashed. I mean, are you really jumping the gun?
Well, following the Supreme Court's decision, Rahul Gandhi ji would be back into the parliament. He would be joining the debate. And the spirit of parliamentarianism, the spirit of democracy would be visible again. The manner in which this disqualification was done was disheartening. As an Indian citizen, it was pathetic. The manner in which opposition was disqualified on a trivial pretext. Some form of a issue was manufactured, exaggerated, and attempts were made to silence the opposition. Attempts were made to stifle the opposition.
Abhishek, I don't like to
interrupt. Quieten questions.
But, I do not
to
like
silence all those questions which were to be duly asked by opposition.
He decides what is trivial?
The opposition is meant in the parliament to ask the ruling government why, what, when, and how. But this government, in its arrogance, found it intimidating, found it unacceptable. It reflected the undemocratic character of the present dispensation. So I would say this judgment is restoration of the democratic spirit. This judgment is welcome, and I congratulate India and all of you.
It's not a judgment.
Witnessing.
It's not a judgment. It will do you well.
Which India are you congratulating? India the country or India the alliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I come in?
Please tell.
Now, okay.
Thank you.
Lokesh, you have made some charges. You have made some charges against the BJP. I will get the BJP representative here to respond to it. But quickly, I want to go to Nikhil because Nikhil was holding some placard. Nikhil, the BJP also says in the reactions that we have seen coming in through the day that this is the victory of democracy. And as someone who aligns with the Congress party, you should see in this development today how strong Indian democracy is. The roots are the fact that the Supreme Court has this kind of oversight where it gives a verdict which makes the entire Congress party across the country so jubilant.
So Abhishek, is the BJP now trying to say and now rejoicing in the fact that the Supreme Court, a three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, was not influenced by them? Why were, when the Ram Mandir judgment came, why were they going?
No, you are rejoicing. BJP has just taken a position. You are rejoicing.
See, the point is that Rahul Gandhi had not made a defamatory speech. He was yet convicted by a trial court in Gujarat. The appeal is still pending. However, he had filed an application for stay of conviction with the session court, which the session court denied, then to the High Court, which the High Court denied. But thankfully, the Supreme Court of India has now held up the law and they have given a stay on the conviction, and Rahul Gandhi would be back in the parliament.
No.
I see my friend from the BJP
You seem
raising
to
a
have
finger
not
to that.
understood the technicalities of how the judiciary in India functions.
Yeah, please explain. Please explain. I would not know as a lawyer. Please explain what are the technicalities of the matter.
So nobody has interrupted you. Nobody has interrupted you. Nikhil, complete. Complete quickly. Nobody has interrupted.
My friend from the BJP is trying. My friend from the BJP is telling me that I have not understood the technicalities of the matter. I just spoke to a counsel who was involved in this matter. I have obviously been following this case for a long while.
Why are you getting distracted by body language?
I am a lawyer. I have worked in the Supreme Court.
You have to take it and go ahead.
I don't think she has the right to tell me that I don't understand how the judiciary works. God's sake.
Can I come in now, Abhishek?
I still can't.
Okay, are you conceding? So I have to go to Charu Pragya then. Charu, I think
Abhishek,
Nikhil is not able to, organize his thoughts maybe. But
yeah,
the charge that Lokesh is making against you is that it was disheartening the manner in which an attempt was made to silence the opposition.
I have a few very,
now,
very
my
quick
question
points
is,
and then... Yeah.
Did the BJP do that? Did the BJP use the process of law to get Rahul Gandhi out of the way?
Yes.
Yes. So, number one, to tell the learned lawyer on your show, he is no one to decide whether the speech was defamatory or not. Mr. Gandhi is convicted.
You have to unmute yourself.
Exactly.
Charu, you have to unmute yourself.
And that conviction has been stayed. Madam, that conviction has been stayed now.
I'm not mute. Yeah, Abhishek, if I'm audible, can I please start speaking? Am I audible to you? Yes?
Go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, he's been convicted. You do not decide. The judiciary decides what is defamatory and what is not. The judiciary has decided. I know you would like to celebrate, but this is only an interim order. It is not the final judgment. This is for Mr. Jindal because he calls this the judgment. This is an interim order. At the same time, the Supreme Court,
the order
in all its
puts
wisdom,
a stay on the conviction, madam.
Mr. Jindal,
so he's no longer convicted.
Is it the final?
No, please correct yourself.
No,
Lokesh, I have to stop you there. Nobody interrupted you. Charu, go ahead.
Yes. So, no, this is important because if they both claim to understand how the judiciary functions, then they should know this. An interim order is just that. It's a stopgap arrangement. It's not the complete and final order. That is still pending. But while the Supreme Court temporarily stays something, it very clearly says he ought to have been more careful. The Supreme Court says the statement was not in good taste. But while the Congress is celebrating, they fail to understand that this is only interim, it is only temporary. Also, you are saying that everything is hunky-dory and democracy is thriving again. Well, is he the only MP in the parliament which represents the Congress party, or are you trying to indirectly say all the other MPs are not needed and there are extras and they do not contribute to the way the democracy in this country functions at all? Also, Mr. Gandhi has an attendance of just about 50%. Half the times he chooses not to go to parliament, even while he's a part of parliament. The national average is above 80. So Mr. Gandhi, half the time, chooses to skip parliament, and you are celebrating the fact that you think he'll be happy to be back. As for his participation and making democracy more active and vibrant, he's participated in 5 debates in parliament. The national average is 40. 5 debates versus 40. So I do not know what you're celebrating. I'm sure you have to speak like that because you belong to the Congress party, and a little bit of this psychophancy is important. But I also want to quickly add two quick things, Abhishek, and then I will end my opening statement. Number one, Mr. Gandhi is a habitual offender. The same thing has happened in the case of Rafael. He's also a habitual offender when it comes to simply insulting the people of India. Repeatedly, he's done that. There are defamation cases pending against him in several courts across the country, in several police stations, whether it is in Mazgaon, whether it is in Ranchi. He thinks generalizing and insulting people is completely fine. When he chose to contest from Kerala, because he was definitely losing from Uttar Pradesh, he actually made a statement against the people of Uttar Pradesh. He chooses to apologize. Lokesh forces him to. So by himself, Mr. Gandhi is also not astute.
But that's a valid argument Charu Pragya is making, Lokesh. What's there to laugh about? What's there to laugh about the fact that Rahul Gandhi's average attendance is 50%? What's there to laugh about the fact that against an average participation by an MP in 40 debates, Rahul Gandhi's average is 5? So I think you shouldn't be very happy about the fact that your leader is not very regular inside the parliament. You are saying that the BJP tried to silence the opposition. We heard Rahul Gandhi from the United States. We heard Rahul Gandhi from the UK. And we heard whatever he wanted to say, he said.
Yes, I'll tell you.
But Abhishek,
the charges come from a political party which doesn't even conduct the parliamentary sessions regularly. Which doesn't believe in passing the bill via parliamentary procedure. A political party which has always supported the parliament is right now acting as a champion of democracy.
Mr. Jinnah, why don't you address this first? Did you or did you not apologize after the court forced you?
No,
Hasn't this happened with you often enough?
Charu, see,
defamation,
I understand the frustration.
Charu, hold on. Let me take this to. I am taking this to Lokesh. I am taking this to Lokesh. Charu, I am taking this to Lokesh.
He's in parliament.
Charu,
I'm glad he's going to be back
I am
in
taking this to
because
Lokesh.
maybe then you will allow parliament to function. Maybe then you'll allow parliament to function.
No, Charu. Let me take this to Lokesh. Lokesh. You also know your leader is prone to some gaffes. And it happens very often. Even the Supreme Court, while giving this temporary relief today to your leader, has said that the comments were not in good taste. So there is nothing to laugh about it. But the more pertinent question is, because you raised the issue of BJP trying to silence the opposition by using process of law, the fact is your leader, when he is member inside the parliament, hardly uses that privilege in terms of participating in debates, asking questions, So that is something which you should be answering.
I'll tell you what kind of leader Rahul Gandhi is. A leader who walks from Kanyakumari to Kashmir to unite the country, spreading the message of peace and love. That's the leader we have. A leader who goes
then you are admitting parliament
yesterday when a 14-year-old girl child was gang raped and burnt alive.
Come on.
Did he make a statement against that?
Have the patience.
This is important for me. The brigade which goes on and on about women's safety.
Be civilized.
Did you or Mr. Gandhi make a statement
I have immense respect
in
for you.
support of the
Charu,
14-year-old child who was burnt alive?
Please maintain the decorum, madam.
Charu Pragya, hold on. Charu Pragya, let him respond. I have asked your question to him. Charu, your question has been asked to Lokesh. Let him respond.
Yes.
Pin him down. Lokesh, quickly.
Rahul Gandhi is a people's leader. A leader who visits Sonipat crops.
Except the poor child who was burnt alive in Rajasthan. Rahul Gandhi doesn't
No,
want
you are
to.
sidestepping the question. Charu, hold on. I'm taking
pain to you.
Charu, hold on. Please, hold on. Lokesh, you are sidestepping the question. As leader of the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi can crisscross the country from Kashmir to Kanyakumari or Kanyakumari to Kashmir. He can address as many public events as he wants to. But when the parliament is on, when the session is there, as a member of parliament from Wayanad, as a responsible leader of the opposition, he should be participating in debates. He should be asking questions. He should be there, seen there. He should be present there, not just 50% of the time, more. So I think that's the question that you should be answering when the issue that you are raising is an attempt has been made to silence him. Silence him.
With respect to Parliament, there are strict rules of business whereby the attendance of parliamentarians is taken due care of. Any parliamentarian who remains absent without informing always has the threat of getting disqualified by the speaker. So your charge of Rahul Gandhi not attending the parliamentary sessions and ignoring it is baseless because you are not aware of the rules of business of the parliament. Secondly, when you're talking about Rahul Gandhi and his parliamentary
no, that's not a good defense.
How has the BJP
Lokesh, that's not a good defense. That's not a good defense. That's not a good defense. Rules of business do not obstruct Mr. Rahul Gandhi in any manner.
Not attend parliament. And he doesn't care about girls in Rajasthan.
Can you tell me what has been your track records? How many number of hours of business have you conducted in the last 5 years? It is the lowest up till now. Do you know how many hours of bills discussion have taken place? It's the least. I'll tell you why. Why is it that you are only resorting to ordinances and not resorting to debates in the parliament?
Okay, I have to get Sujata Pandey also in this.
But you want that particular discussion to be merely another topic.
Lokesh, no, do not digress. Lokesh, do not digress. Charu, pull back. Charu, pull back. Charu, pull back.
What kind?
You both made your points. You both made your points.
Mr. Gandhi doesn't care about all that.
You both made your points.
Charu,
Charu, you both made your points. Charu. Oh.
Yes.
You both made your points and you have got a second round as well. I have to get Sujata Pandey also in. Sujata, before I go to Nikhil, there are questions to the BJP as well. Is it a case of overreaction? Are you sort of making Rahul Gandhi too big in your mind? That's a question for the BJP. Was it always political? I mean, these are questions which BJP also should be answering.
Okay, Abhishek, first thing, I think the law under which Rahul Gandhi was disqualified, I think the law was passed by the Congress party itself. When a member of the parliament is convicted under a case, he needs to be disqualified on the very same day. The due process was followed. If that was not the case, the Supreme Court would have made that point which didn't happen. On the contrary, Supreme Court clearly mentioned that whatever Rahul Gandhi said on, making a bad comment on a community was in bad taste, and he should not be doing it in the future. That's number one. Secondly, my question to Congress party is what are they celebrating? The case is still going on. He's not acquitted. He's just been given a stay on the conviction. He's accused in other cases, including National Herald case of corruption.
Sujata, but the fact of the matter is there are 13 cases against Rahul Gandhi. There is conviction in none.
He can be convicted again.
Apart from this one.
He can lose this. What? Sorry? Abhishek,
I'm saying there are 13 cases against Rahul Gandhi. There is conviction in none but this one. So obviously, that's the question I was asking was, is the BJP making the mistake of making Rahul Gandhi too big in their mind?
How is this
giving
BJP making Rahul Gandhi
an opportunity to Rahul Gandhi to paint himself as a martyr, as a victim?
Abhishek, it's the court which gave him, the session court gave him the punishment. Then he went to the High Court. It was High Court's order which did not give him the relief. Now the Supreme Court has given him relief. So where is the BJP coming out in this picture? It was purely a case of making a bad remark on a...
Nikhil. First Nikhil, then Lokesh, then Charu.
And one very important question here, Abhishek.
Nikhil, quickly you have to rebut. Nikhil.
What has happened in the Rahul Gandhi case? Rahul Gandhi made a certain statement. A magistrate's court in Gujarat convicted him for defamation and sentenced him to 2 years in prison. And any MP is disqualified, can be disqualified. Charu, can you stop interjecting for heaven's sake here? You will keep on interjecting and then you will say, I don't know how the judiciary...
No, this is not Charu, this is Sujata, hold on. Nikhil,
the co-panelist from the other side has been completely missing on the facts. It was not the Sessions Court that had granted... It was not the Sessions Court that had convicted Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, this
is... Look at you, Abhishek, can you please control?
No, this is not helping. Nikhil.
Smiling and laughing and giggling at the fact that she's...
Okay, Nikhil.
The second time that this is happening. Abhishek, let me at least complete what has happened. Let me at least complete.
But you don't use your opportunity also, Nikhil. You get distracted if Charu raises her finger.
it's not about raising a finger, it is simply about somebody interjecting me. Let me complete that. The magistrate's court was the one that had convicted Rahul Gandhi and granted him a sentence again. Be that as may, then Rahul Gandhi approached the Sessions Court in appeal as well as filed an application for stay of
I have run
conviction.
out of time.
It was the stay
This
of
is going to be an
conviction that was-
interesting debate going forward. Remember, the last time Rahul Gandhi was handed that conviction.
I want to make a point.
No,
Allow me to make
Lokesh,
a
sorry,
point, please.
Lokesh, sorry,
Allow me to
I've really run out of time. I've really run out of time. No, sorry, I've run out of time. The last time Rahul Gandhi got the conviction, the Lok Sabha Secretariat was quick to cancel his membership of the parliament. Now, it would be interesting to see how the response comes in from the Speaker's office because the Congress believes that they have an opportunity to make Rahul Gandhi participate in the no confidence motion. But then the larger question is, are the jubilations in the Congress camp little premature given the fact that this is an interim stay? Also, the trouble that it creates for the larger opposition space because a Gango Congress means the possibility of Rahul Gandhi getting projected from the Congress side as the leader of the alliance, which perhaps rest of the leaders, including Mamata Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal and Nitish Kumar might not accept. And that's going to be the interesting debate. I'm coming back with that at 9 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, friends.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the Times of India B School 2022 rankings. To apply, visit amity.edu.
Trending burning question, powered by Reva University and Century Ply Laminates.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with our focus on what happened in the last few days in NU. What appears now is a classic example when the administration completely fails, ladies and gentlemen. Days after the violence in Haryana, NU SP and the DC, who have been accused of dereliction of duty, have now been transferred. It's a stamp on the fact that they haven't done their job properly. Is that really enough? Can the Khattar government duck the accountability with bare minimum action? If the writing was on the wall, could the violence be avoided? And let me try and explain this to you, ladies and gentlemen. Why exactly are we now saying that the administration is also culpable? The reason being, they say that this was an annual yatra, which essentially means that they knew the number of people who are going to attend, who from which side. The CID says that they had inputs that something could actually go wrong. The local police station says we had no inputs. So who exactly is responsible for it, ladies and gentlemen, when lives have essentially been lost? You have both sides blaming each other. Now videos are surfacing which makes it abundantly clear that they were well armed. Both sides were well armed. So the question here is that, has someone made the mistake? And who exactly is that someone? Tonight we raise that question about accountability and who exactly is accountable. Take a look at this report and then we begin the trending burning question.
On 31st of July, NU in Haryana was on the boil. After communal riots hit the area. 3 days after 2 home guards and 4 civilians were killed, the Khattar government has finally woken up. Varun Singla, a senior police officer in NU who was on leave when deadly communal clashes broke, has been transferred. Late on Thursday night, he was posted in Bhiwani.
This is the multi-level investigation that is happening. Several teams are deploying and camping in NU and Gurgaon itself. DGP, ADGP, Law and Order, and even DGP Intel, they all are camping in NU and monitoring this investigation. The people who have been arrested, they are involved into the violence, but still the masterminds are still hiding. The police is still able to reach to masterminds of this entire violence case. So investigation is on.
About 20 kilometers away from violence hit NU. The Haryana government also raised shanties allegedly belonging to the riot accused. Flag marches are being held.
This was the path from where the miscreants from the temple came from the Taudu area, the temple area, and right now the flag march is being now conducted by the security forces. RAF, at least 25 to 30 security companies are deployed in Nu right now. The curfew relaxation is also announced here. These are the visuals where the soldiers and the Jawans are lashed with high and modern guns as well as tear gases weapons. They are lashed here, and the flag march, this is being conducted in the Nu, Haryana right now.
Is the action by Haryana government too little and too late? That's the trending burning question tonight. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Deshratan Nigam, Biray Singh, Lokesh Jindal and Akashdeep Muni joins us on the trending burning question. Biray Singh, you ought to admit one thing tonight. The larger picture has emerged. While both sides would be continuously blaming each other, there is conspiracy theories that are doing the round. One thing is crystal clear. The failure on the part of the administration. The new SP had gone on leave, ladies and gentlemen. The senior most officer on the ground, once again, let me repeat, was on leave. Came back. An adjoining police station superintendent was given the additional charge. I may be wrong as far as the rank is concerned, but the fact of the matter is that, ladies and gentlemen, when Binay, they say that it was an annual yatra, then how exactly was this allowed? The new SP goes on leave. Was he not aware of the fact that this is a larger congregation? Was he not aware of the fact that it would have covered some sensitive areas? Was he really not aware of the fact that, as some groups are now projecting, that they were armed? One particular side was completely armed. If it was the case, then what exactly was the police doing?
Sawan, I think this is not the story. And let's not blame the police. The police is, you just can't go on blaming the police. What happened exactly? You will have to go to Bengal. You study the Kaliachak incident. What happened in Kaliachak? This is repetition of Kaliachak. Religious violence is used as a weapon. The main, the motto is, this is a new modus operandi. The main motto is to shield behind this violence. And what they want to shield? The thuggery, the criminal activities, the terrorist activities, those who are going on in Nu. Why they are targeting the cyber police station? They also target the same way they targeted the police station in Kaliachak. The same happened in Bangalore, the same happened in Bareilly. So religious, riots is now being used to shield the criminal and terrorist activities, Sawan. So that you can't go on blaming the police. It was the same police which raided. The several raids were going on in the past months. And the police was able to recover more than 100 crores of rupees. Those who had been cheated across the country. So this was in retaliation of those raids. And this religious, cover, this religious riots is being used to shield these illegal activities. And you cannot, give a clean sheet to the Nu district. Nu district has a history. Nu district has a history. It has a past. Okay. It has a past that the Tablighi Jamaat was born in Nu. And the same Tablighi Jamaat who is being accused of being involved in more than 100 terrorist activities across the world, be it Boston bombing or 9/11. So Nu has a history. And Binay, I say again, this matter of graveness of security. And I think the police will have to change the approach.
On that count, unfortunately, Binay, you are not talking about Bittu Bajrangi. Okay, Binay, then what exactly was Bittu Bajrangi essentially saying? Was he really putting out lessons of peace? Bittu Bajrangi was not really putting out any lessons of peace. Bittu Bajrangi is also a provocator. If that Mewati fellow whom we are talking about, if he is a provocator, who is undoubtedly is, and let me make it very clear for those who would make this mistake, that probably we are looking at only one side. No, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at both sides. And Lokesh Jindal, if I can come to you on this count, that when it comes to cherry picking, which I would ask this question to Binay, so I'll ask you this question to you also, Lokesh Jindal, that let's admit the fact that you have had a temple where people had to take refuge, and not one or two, we're talking about people in thousands. They came under attack, stones were being pelted, and once again, Binay, let me remind you, the fact of the matter is that why I insist this is the failure on the part of the police, because if the police today says that arms were being stored, stones were being kept at one location, they were being transported, what were they really doing then? That's the question. I'll come back to you, Binay, but let me also bring in Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, you are also accused of this entire cherry picking, and this is exactly what we are witnessing right now, because the fact of the matter is that both sides have their own provocators, and we are witnessing that unfortunately there are people right in between who are being squashed.
There are very crucial questions that are being raised, that it's not possible for the SP to go on a leave without informing the senior officials. And secondly, why were the people from VHP carrying arms and ammunitions? Because as per Arms Act, a blade more than 9 inches or a sword has to have an arms license in order to carry that. But still they were carrying it. Thirdly, the intelligence agencies, the CID, Vishwajit himself has on record stated that he had given a prior intimation to the police that there is a potential danger of some form of rioting. Why weren't preventive measures taken? The police already has preventive detention, UAP, other forms of legal mechanisms available for with itself. It could have called for extra force. It could have called for, it could have done some form of a mob management, and it could have restricted entry into that troublesome area. But all these procedures were ignored by the police. And there is, yes, some form of, a conspiracy theory, which everybody predicts. Because why was the police enabling such a form of a rioting taking place? Was it political? Yes, because such forms of riots, it benefits a political ideology and a political philosophy. Why is it that just prior to elections, there are rioting that takes place? 2022, prior to the elections in March, we saw that there were all forms of violence
it actually,
all over the country.
Yeah, I on that, for once I would like to agree with you. It does suit not one political party. Across the aisle, all political parties. It does actually suit them, because let's look at the fact the provocators are not from one
polarization,
side.
communalization,
which I don't know. It's the people of this country who's going to decide. But it's the people of the society needs the society that you're essentially talking about will actually be able to decide and will be able to see through it. But the fact of the matter is that we're talking about institutions here, institutions who have been tasked for a particular job. Now here, Binay, I completely disagree with you when it comes to the fact that why the police, I'm not saying that the police, the police here is now becoming, it's not a shadow boxing that's taking place. Deshratan Nigam, let me just once again focus on this part, because now the larger picture has emerged. It does appear that the police was well aware of the fact that stones were being stored. The fact that you have high rises from where stones were being pelted, then the fact of the matter is that someone was actually preparing. Someone was preparing for quite some time. And both sides have essentially had people who are already warning. If you talk about Bittu Bajrangi, then you have the other Mewati fellow who's made those kind of comments, videos that were circulated. And these are videos which have been there for a very long time. And in fact, as I understand, every police station today, every police station across the country today is well equipped to monitor social media videos. In fact, it's part of their job. But yet, no action was taken, ladies and gentlemen. So, Deshratan Nigam, I firmly believe, as I see the larger picture emerging, that yes, as far as administration, as far as policing is concerned, it had completely collapsed.
Shravan, in fact, there are two aspects of the matter. One is abdication of the duty and responsibility by the police. That is a post facto exercise, and probably that will be taken and certain transfers have been made. That is one thing. But what triggered this? That was new. And who attacked? And if you read the FIR, and it is by a Muslim officer, the first complaint is by a Muslim officer from the NU. He says 400, 500 mobs, attacked the devotees of that temple who were going, and they were caught off guard. And the home guards which were there and the police, they were completely outnumbered. And the pre-planning is also very clear that the people had, hidden overnight on the hills, and the firing took place from the hills. And the two home guard people who have died, believe me, the persons who attacked them were very well trained, because it was not through a sharp knife they died. They died, the post-mortem report says, from the force of a blunt object. To kill a person from the force of a blunt object, you really require training, lot of training. A sharp object can very easily kill a person, but when home guards are killed, and they are Neeraj and Gursevat, the post-mortem report is very clear that by the sheer force of blunt object, the reason for their death, the murder that has taken place. The amount of pre-planning. So let us not make the guilty as victims. The Muslim mob attacked at the temple, devotees, and thereafter number of events got triggered. And therefore, let us concentrate how and why so much of planning. And I agree with you that certain police officers need to answer why the person was on leave when they had the intelligent reports that the arms are being gathered and stones. It cannot be overnight. Weapons were being procured. WhatsApp group admins were given responsibilities, and they are on record. To now, so much of information is coming out to collect weapons, to collect glasses, glass bottles, and stones, blunt objects. So much planning and this thing is going on. The police was sleeping. I certainly feel there has been a clear abdication of responsibility. But under that, let me make it very clear: terrorists and rioters do have a religion. Let us not mince words. Let us call a spade a spade. If we brush it under the carpet, we will find no solution to it. If you have to find a solution, call a spade a spade. The FIR is very clear, and especially that is by a Muslim officer. He has made it very clear. And let us not, mince words. And unless and until, and a lot of people from outside, from community from Rajasthan came. The shanties which have been destroyed in NU is also on account of the fact that people from outside, the Bangladeshis were also immigrants, illegal immigrants were residing there, who had actually run off from other places and just recently got settled. So we got to look at the causes and let us not justify the guilt of anybody. Let's not make guilty as victims here.
Deshratan Nigam, no sane thinking person can actually glorify violence. Could be from any side. The fact of the matter is that we are a country which is governed by a constitution, and let's make it very clear, no one is above law. It could be anyone from any religion. Law is paramount, and on that note, let me also bring in Akashdeep Muni. Akashdeep Muni, the problem here is this: we forget that we are bound by the constitution. We forget the fact that it is not about cherry picking about this one from this person from this community, the other person from the other community, and it's not about just two communities. At the end of the day, all of us are here protecting our country. This at a time when there are anti-nationals, and let me be very clear, there are anti-nationals with that mindset that let me do anything that is required to perhaps malign the image of this country. And there comes the question of crackdown. And when the crackdown happens, we talk about human rights. Let me just get in a word from Akashdeep Muni on that. Akashdeep Muni, we are also now many of you are now accused of the fact that why do this cherry picking? Let's be very clear, as call the spade a spade.
See, Shravan, we will not cherry pick. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's understand the chronology. You have seen the video of Nalwar temple where a particular person called Shiv Baba was firing in front of the police. The police were standing and that person was firing bullet after bullet. What my friend also said. After that, that particular person is seen with the transport minister of Haryana, Mulchand ji. Later on, that same person is seen with Manu Manesar, who has been making continuous provocative statements before this incident happens, which triggered this incident. And let's go to the root cause of it. When Manu Manesar videos were there, when so many videos of provocations were there, when intelligence had that video, you don't need intelligence. Your Twitter handle will say that so many videos were circulated for violence. Why the police was not prepared? Why the SP was not there? If the SP was not there, why the DIG was not there? If the DIG was there, why at the last moment the professionals has to airlifted to CRPF had to be airlifted? Why? Why such unpreparedness? Until now, why this person called Manu Manesar, this person called Shiv Baba, why they are out roaming in Haryana? Why they are doing it? Just accountability has to be fixed. And if you say anti-nationals, and you have to understand someone who these anti-nationals are supported by. Let the government come out. And why the government is not catching hold of?
Let's make it very clear. Let's not spare.
Why?
Let's not.
Why?
For nationalists, for true patriots. Now, Deshratan Nikam, I'm very sorry I have to end this, but I would say for true patriots would say that action cannot be one-sided. Do not spare anyone who is responsible for this violence and make sure justice takes place. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on the Trending Burning Question. On the other side, the debate with my colleagues Abhishek Kapoor and Aishwarya Kapoor.
The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the Times of India B School 2022 rankings. To apply, visit amity.edu. The Amity BBA has been ranked India's #1 BBA in the Times of India B School 2022 rankings. To apply, visit amity.edu.